Hey, Sox fans. Welcome to Good Guys Talk Back, a local fan-centric Chicago White Sox podcast, hosted by Nick Murawski and Pat Hester.
Hey, Sox fans. Welcome back to Good Guys Talk Back. Hey, it's episode 333. I am Nick Murawski, and this is a fan-centric Chicago White Sox podcast. Doing this now every Sunday night on the Good Guys Talk Back YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. Audio available absolutely everywhere. We are competing live here with the Oscars and, of course, a huge World Baseball Classic game. USA and the Dominican Republic. It's close. I'm kind of keeping my eyes on it right now live. So appreciate you jumping in, but understand if you're going to consume this podcast later, because there's a lot of stuff going on tonight here on Sunday, March 15th. We are just days away from this spring training being over and the Sox getting things kicked off in Milwaukee. With me, as always, my best friend, diehard Sox fan, Pat Hester. Hello, sir.
Nick, happy Sunday night, buddy. Are you a big Oscars fan? You enjoy consuming the award shows?
I used to be, Pat. Boy, I used to be. And I like with everybody that has kids and a bunch of other responsibilities, your extracurricular time is completely shut down. But years ago, my wife and I, leading up to the Oscars, we'd make sure we saw every Best Picture. And this was pre-COVID. So, you don't have access to the movies, through a bunch of different streaming devices like you do now. You literally had to go into the theater. And I really enjoyed it. And I've been to Oscar parties where you fill out a little ballot, and there are prizes given for who gets the most categories right. So I've enjoyed it. I've only seen I saw One Battle After Another, and that is an outstanding movie. Wow, I've recommended that to so many people, and I'm sure it's either has been cleaning up or it will clean up tonight at the Oscars.
Well, you're a better man than me, because I don't know that I may have never have watched an entire Oscars before in my entire life. So this is where you and I have a lot in common. But this is not one of them. The Oscars I have zero interest in, and nor would I have the time or the inclination to go watch all the Best Pictures. I mean, they can have a ton of Best Picture nominees, right? They can be like 8.
Yes, yeah, they've
9.
expanded.
That's a lot of movies to consume.
I feel like they've expanded things, and it was cool to see. I did see a little bit of it as I was bouncing from the World Baseball Classic, the Oscars. The cast of Bridesmaids reunited, 15-year anniversary. If you want to feel old.
Wow.
15-year anniversary. So that was kind of cool. That's a movie that is a funny movie. But it was cool to see them reunite. I'll probably catch a lot of the highlights, but as Howard mentioned, I put it up in the chat, lost interest in the Oscars since Oscar Colas. Wow.
Whammy. We should have done a whole Oscar Colas episode in honor of the Oscars, Nick.
Yeah,
we missed an opportunity.
Oh gosh, what an era that was! What an era! Thankfully, we are done with that. Brighter days ahead. Hello to Steve and Sydney and Howard jumping in with us. Appreciate it. So Sox, Pat, are hovering a little over 500. They lost to the Royals here on Sunday, and I think if my count's correct, including a split squad, I think there are 8 games left.
Okay.
Here as of beginning on Monday, March 16th. 8 games, and then there's a few days off, and then they kick things off in Milwaukee, and you and I will be there.
Yeah.
And then you and I will also we'll run it back for the home opener, and that's like a holiday. That is going to be some fun times at Lot B with the sports bums.
I just ride your coattails.
Yeah.
We know our roles, Nick. My role, secure tickets. Done. Your role, get me in with all the cool people, and,
Yeah.
and I can just go, hey, I'm with cool Nick, and then maybe somebody will give me a free burger. That's really all.
Oh, you'll get free food. You'll
Okay.
get free food. There are, so many people that do it up on the home opener, and it's if you've never been to one of these, you just walk around. Hopefully,
Mhm.
we're not going to get a balmy, 70-degree day. We're just not. Count on it to be high 40s, maybe low 50s, partly sunny. That's great. That's actually very pleasant home opener
Mhm.
for April 2nd. Bounce around to different parking lots, hit up some of the local haunts maybe beforehand. Put a call in to Phil's Pizza to pick up that pie.
Oh boy, now you're talking. So you have to start. You have to call now, don't you? Because I remember when you used to live in Bridgeport, you'd call
Yeah.
Phil's like 3 hours before we wanted the pizza.
Yeah, well, and hello to John, who's jumping in, and such a great dude. And Phil's is the absolute best pizza in the city of Chicago. And trust me, gang, I have had a lot of pizza, and I have consumed pizza all over that great city. And Phil's on 35th, and I believe Aberdeen, it's the best. I'm sorry. It's the absolute best. Put your calls in to celebrate the home opener. Get yourself a Phil's after the game. You've had Phil's. You've had it at
I've
my
had
house.
Phil's, yes.
The
Now
sausage is outstanding.
I'm I'm all kinds of excited about it now, Nick.
If I wanted to keep you on a heater right now, I'd start talking about Lenine Sosa, because I've already got you sweating as I'm talking about Phil's Pizza. And if I started to talk a little Lenine Sosa, I don't know if I'd be able to get you back.
Well, here's the thing, Nick. I mean, I had a great conversation with a fellow coach of mine, my son's team over the weekend. We were in Bettendorf, Iowa, and I sat down with Adam. Adam Sager's his name, and he's actually a host on Locked On Bears. He does Locked On Bears.
Oh, yeah.
podcast.
Hello.
So,
All right.
so he's in the in our world, right? As podcasters, and
Yep.
and he's a big Sox fan. And we were talking Lenny Sosa, and I laid it on him. I said, listen, you got nowhere to go. We're locked into this tournament all weekend. You're going to hear my thoughts on Lenny Sosa.
Yeah.
But, where do you put him? And it's been like what we've talked about. I mean, listen, I fall in love with Lenny Sosa. I need to figure out how we're going to utilize him and what the plan is for him, because you got the Moon Man hitting grand slams in the WBC, and he's going to be playing first base. So,
As he should.
The conundrum continues with a man without a position. I feel like we've had that too many times. So I don't know. I listen, you've got me now all lathered up about Lenine Sosa. I feel like I need a cigarette.
He keeps hitting. I'm watching the game on Saturday. So yesterday, March 14th, they're playing the Dodgers, and it was on Chicago Sports Network, and he first time up, he crushes a double down the left field line, right on the screws, which is nothing out of the ordinary for Lenine Sosa this spring, and what we saw for a lot of last year, I feel, especially down the stretch. And then the second time up, he ropes a single, an RBI single.
Yeah.
Now, look, let's get into some of the World Baseball Classic stuff. There's really 2 points that I want to throw your way. That, the first one is the Kyle Teel situation. Sad.
Yeah.
You don't want to see, never want to see anybody get hurt. And, I'm sorry, but I can't blame the World Baseball Classic for that.
No.
And I can't blame and go down the dark path of, we're doomed, we're cursed. Why can't the White Sox have nice things? It happened. Was he amped up more than a random spring training game? Absolutely. And he is hitting the ball really well. He has been in spring. Look, I don't think it's as bad as, we're alluding to. We don't know, have all the knowledge. It sounds like from some sound bites that he's feeling better than he anticipated. Chris Getz called it a grade 2 strain, 4 to 6 weeks. Maybe he's back by May at the latest, mid to late April. There's no rush with him, with the colder weather, the way it is in the Midwest, especially starting out the season. Don't, be surprised if you have snowstorms and some crazy cold temperatures. Don't need to rush him, but look, man, the dude was just playing some hard baseball, and weird things happen sometimes. And your thoughts? Are you looking to cancel the World Baseball Classic after that?
No, I mean, listen, when they first, brought the World Baseball Classic, in front of us and said, here, we're going to be doing this thing. It really didn't seem like something that I would care about. And I don't think I really did. And it's not that I'm watching every single pitch of every single game during this time, but if it's on, I'm watching. I was just upstairs watching with my son, and it's wildly entertaining when you've got, Aaron Judge showing off his hose all the time and gunning guys down on the base paths, and, guys robbing home runs and crowd into it. I mean, you have to at some point think about the game of baseball and growing it. And when you've got, again, I'm speaking for my own son, who's a baseball fan, and I know the kids on his team are into it and watching it. You're growing the game and growing the passion for the game, because when it gets to early April, you're going to get, low attendance games because of weather. You're going to get, it's not going to be as exciting. So why not throw something out there that's exciting, that gets people thinking about what this game can be when things mean something to people, when you have countries and pride on the line. So I listen, Teal's injury, unfortunate. That could have happened in a spring training game, rounding the bases. It's a hamstring thing. I don't think he'll be, more than 4 weeks. He was moving around and walked off under his own power. My guess is it'll be on the 4 week side of things, and he'll be back and ready to rock. It's unfortunate, but it also, Nick, we've talked about it for a while, that we have catching depth. So if there's an injury that we can absorb a little bit right now, it's at the catching position.
Yeah. If you're going to get hurt, again, never want to see anybody get hurt. There's never a good time, but if you have to have it happen, like, this might be a better time than some other moments. And you're right that we've talked a lot about the depth. Kyle Teal has been coveted, I think, even by Boston. Boston wanted him back in a bad way in the winter meetings. I'm a Edgar Caro guy. I've been actually more higher on him, and have hoped that Edgar Caro would take the lion's share. And it's just nice to have Kyle Teal's bat, and, obviously a two-headed monster behind the plate, but I didn't really want a platoon. I wanted Edgar Caro to carry most of the load, and that's going to happen now. Edgar Caro has his moment now. Not the way he wanted it, not the way anybody wanted it, but he's going to he's going to have the spotlight, and he has been having a wonderful spring. We've talked about him the last time we got on the mics. I think he's the team leader in RBIs, just really a big impact. So, you got the Kyle Teal thing, he goes down on the shelf right now, limited, and that is going to benefit Edgar Caro and also Lenine Sosa, because we were wondering, well, what's going to happen? Like, where's the DH? Is Kyle Teal going to be the DH? Is it the Caro spot? Lenine Sosa kind of out of options, but he keeps hitting. He's going to find his way on the team. He's got to.
I agree with that, Nick. And I guess it'll all shake out the way it's supposed to shake out. And again, like we've talked about, these are all really good problems, but you forgot we have Corey Lee too, right?
And he's been playing fairly well.
He's been playing really well. So
yes,
he gets an opportunity to show something too. And maybe it's an opportunity to show something in terms of, trading him for something. So it's a great opportunity to highlight him a little bit more too. So again, I won't poo-poo the World Baseball Classic because of injury. It is what it is. Injuries are going to happen. No matter what. I'm kind of past the point of, keep guys in bubble wrap. I want my baseball players to play baseball, and if they get hurt playing baseball, that's just the price of poker. It's not great, but for me, it's more as a White Sox fan, it's cool to see our guys on a big stage and performing. When you're looking at Moon, when you're looking at Kyle Teal, and I'll mispronounce Antonacio's name wrong, but he was doing things in beating the
he's
USA
doing great things. Yeah.
So those are fun things to watch as a fan and go, oh, I can be proud to be a White Sox fan because these guys play for my team and they're doing things in the World Baseball Classic. So again, I'm all for it. I'm all in on World Baseball Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of happy that we don't have any pitchers. We don't have any that are ready for that. Like I want my guys probably at this stage in Arizona working on what they need to work on, and
right.
We don't have anybody that's that established yet. I don't know when the Olympics come around in 2028 or the next World Baseball Classic, we might have guys. A Schultz or a Smith that might be, the talk of MLB. That would be nice.
Yeah.
To have that conversation. This happened. It feels like a week or so ago. I don't know, a week and a half ago, where the Moon Man hit this grand slam in WBC action. And if you're on social media, it's really. During the baseball season, for me, it's where to get instant news. Anybody, if you do the follows correctly and who you subscribe to or who you pay attention to, you're getting everything instantly. They're posting injuries, they're posting results, they're posting it. You're getting it when they have it, and so the social media blew up, with that grand slam and the amount of energy out of White Sox Nation from this one swing. It was on a big stage and it was a big swing. Yeah. But there is such excitement. Anything this guy does, White Sox fans just can't get enough of it. We have been so starved. We really have been starved for superstar, power, superstar notoriety. This guy coming over and the legions of fans that he has internationally, it really, puts the White Sox on the map further than they probably even imagined. But if this guy, comes in and doesn't look overmatched by MLB pitching and can really add what we hope, wow, I think it's going to be an exciting summer. I really do.
Wow, look at you. You're coming 81 and 81 side of the fence, aren't you?
I'm slowly. I'm no longer crawling the 81 and 81. I'm, nonchalantly walking. Without a purpose.
Listen, I've seen you walk. I've never seen you walk nonchalantly. You walk with purpose.
I do.
And right. Focus and vigor, and that's what I expect you to walk like all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that was a breath of fresh air. So much hope is in this guy. And that's where I want that hot start. I want, he's the weather, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to, I think he's going to have to be adjusted to, but he's getting back into camp with like a week or so to go after Japan has been bounced. And, anybody that talks about the White Sox right now, all the prognosticators getting out all their articles and all their season previews. He's the guy that everybody's talking about for the White Sox. His pictures everywhere of what he can do. But we know that there are so many other guys to look out for. Austin Hayes has come in and put a lot of hits together in the spring. He's got 3 home runs. He's been a very productive bat coming from an organization like Baltimore where they've got a lot of outfield, just depth and defensive prowess. And he's coming with some experience. George Walkow. that dude, you're hearing his name pop up quite a bit. And, I don't know when we're going to see him, but he's having himself a spring. Miguel Vargas, he worked on a little bit with his hands and his batting stance. And, he's been contributing quite a bit. I'm comfortable with him at third base. And that has been, it's taken me, and I think a lot of Sox fans, a while to come around to that after we first saw him when he came over from LA. I mean, he's worked at his craft, and I've enjoyed him. And you mentioned Corey Lee. I mean, he's got, how he's handling himself behind the plate. He's got 4 stolen bases, which, by the way, the Sox have been really aggressive.
Yeah.
If you have been able to consume and follow any spring training games, you are seeing the White Sox force the hand of the defense. You are seeing them take bags and cause overthrows at second. You saw a suicide squeeze bunt that I know is not sexy and attractive this day and age, but damn, it puts pressure on the defense, and they executed beautifully on Saturday to plate a run. I haven't seen this type of aggressive play. I've heard a lot of chatter and talk about it in previous years of, we're going to do this and we're going to be winning, 90 feet at a time. They are doing it. They really are. There's a plan in place, and these guys are hungry and they're executing it.
I think, Nick, we had gotten so used to, the old stat that we would talk about on this show a lot, which was, the number of wins the Sox would have, or the greatest, they'd have a greater percentage of winning if they hit 2 home runs in a game, right? And that's still true, right? If you're hitting multiple home runs in a game, your chances of winning go up. But I think we relied so much on that. And then you moved into a team that really didn't hit home runs anymore. So you didn't really have an offensive identity. I like the fact that Will Venable's putting an identity on this team of we're just going to apply pressure on people and continue to apply pressure and let the other team make the mistakes that we were prone to make, right? We're not going to let that happen on our side, but we are going to press on you until you guys make the mistake, and then we're going to take advantage of it. I like that way. And you couple lineup that can hit the 2-run bomb or the multiple home run games as well. So it's a nice mix, I think, of what you have. And you think back to the, what's the magic number in terms of, runs per game? I think it's, if we could average 4.5 runs a game, we're going to probably be a pretty good team and a contending team. I feel like looking at this lineup and its potential, Nick, that seems somewhat feasible. Am I crazy? Again, I am on crazy train. I'm drunk. I'm taking White Sox cocaine right up the nose. I'm all excited about the White Sox this year. You know that. And people tell me I'm crazy that I think they're going to be at least a 500 team. But I'm thinking this team is going to, like we've talked about, win in the margins, apply pressure, be more aggressive. And oh, by the way, there's a lot of power in that lineup. Potential power in that lineup.
Yeah, Colson Montgomery's coming around a little bit. He's flexing his power. If he can build on what he did down the stretch at the pace he was on, you could really talk yourself into some exciting stuff. And I think if you can get those runs and play those runs early, find those opportunities to get those runs in, because we're going to have a better bullpen. You know that this bullpen is going to have some electric arms coming out of it. So if you can play from a lead and get that starter to get out of 5, I mean, especially early in the season, these starters aren't going to go very deep. But if you can get them out of 5 and then hand the ball over to a bullpen that's much more fleshed out, much more reliable, should be electric. That's where you can talk yourself into what I believe the Sox will have at least 1, if not 2 winning months. Okay. You got to go back to May 2023, the last time the Sox had a winning month of baseball. I'm not talking March or October where you played a small handful of games. I'm talking about a month where there were 20.
October is like one game.
There's like 2 games. Look at us, the team of October. When you play 25 to 30 games, it was close last year. I think in July they might have been 2 games or a game under 500. And if you were watching, you felt it, like, wow, something's going on the South side here. I feel like they've got the opportunity, especially before All-Star break, to win a month. And to your point about putting pressure on teams, you felt this, and kids probably experience it at a young age too. You get a scouting report on a team, whether it's at the junior high level, high school, maybe even younger. We should beat this team, right? If we've got the talent, we should beat this team. I think there's going to be a lot of teams looking at the Sox like that will take us lightly. They feel like they could just throw their mitts out and win on any given day, especially early in the season, perhaps against the Sox. Now, if the Sox come out and don't beat themselves, play good baseball, tack a couple runs early, what the amount of pressure that you put on a team now that they're saying, oh, wait a second, they're squeezing, they're a little worried here. Yeah. This team is supposed to fall down. Do they not realize we've got better talent? We're supposed to win on paper. And the Sox, again, have guys that don't know any better.
Yeah.
They don't know that they should be bad. They hear about it, but they brush it off. And I just think it's a different attitude. It's something that, we'll discuss in our quote of the week that was said about this club so far by a veteran. And when you put the pressure on a team that really should be winning, you flip the tables, man. You've turned it. And that's, you're in the driver's seat, and that's a fun place to be.
Yeah. Because for too long, it's been a team that we've watched and rooted for that seemingly always was playing on their heels and was always overmatched and really kind of didn't have an identity, and really they would roll over and show you their belly as soon as adversity would strike. So again, it's a different attitude. It's Will Venable's in his second year now. I think he's going to be more comfortable in his own skin as well in terms of managing this team. I can't say anything bad about what I've seen from Will Venable and how he's kind of putting his thumbprint on what he wants this team to look like. And likewise with Chris Getz. I mean, they seem to be working really well in concert with each other, which is a great thing. And I think they have a vision on how they want this team to be constructed. And I think an idea of how they want them to play. So, and maybe we're drawing a little bit too much out of some spring training games right now, Nick. But again, I'm going to pull from what I saw the last month and a half or 2 months of last season on how this team was starting to come together then, and how it's seemingly has carried over a little bit into spring training. So again, that's where my excitement comes from. And you talked about these guys don't know any better type of thing. That's a great mentality, and they really don't have any pressure because there's not any expectations. So why don't you just go out there and win and play hard and let the chips fall where they may?
Yeah, just have some fun out there, Brian. Just have fun out there.
Chatter.
Get some chatter here. Have some fun out there. Yeah, I talked to a lot of Sox fans over the last couple weeks, and you're running into people. You just see out whatever they got a Sox hat on or a Sox jacket or something, and you start up a conversation. I've been known to do that from time to time, whether it's through the workplace or just in the neighborhood, or and that's the kind of the similar message of it can't get any worse, and it feels like we're on the right track. We're excited about the guys that we're building around, and the Sox are at least highlighting and promoting, so to speak. You know what the promotions are all about this year. It's a lot of outside Chicago. It's a lot of who are these, who are these bobbleheads of? Who are these guys that they're doing jerseys of? And I don't, but that's who we have. That's the youth, and those are the guys that they're going to promote, and they're excited about these guys. And I like that. I like how the White Sox are leaning in on these young guys, and based again off of the end of the year and the vibes I was hearing at Sox Fest and the way that these guys are showing up to play to earn a spot, it feels like it's going to come to fruition. Howard mentioned in the chat, and I'm sure a lot of people heard about Mike Vassell leaving the game early on Saturday with I believe elbow soreness. I haven't heard about any imaging or what is happening with him, but that was sad or disheartening to see a trainer come out and him leaving. A lot of folks that are high on Mike Vassell thoughts that he might even have broken into the rotation at one point. So we'll keep an ear on the Vassell situation. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Brooks Baldwin, I know he's got an elbow, some inflammation. I don't think that's too serious. I haven't heard much else, though, knock on wood, in the injury world.
Yeah, I mean, now is the time. You said about 8 games. That includes some split squads, if I heard you correctly.
Yeah.
Now's the time. I think it's let's just kind of get to. Maybe I'm thinking about it wrong, but let's just get our work in, and the hope is that we can kind of remain a little bit unscathed here. But I would already, even regardless of how the last 8 of the spring goes, I would deem it a very success. And you just do your best to manage the injuries. They will happen, whether they happen now or whether they happen during the season. There's going to be pitchers that go down with elbows and arms and things like that. You just kind of have to weather that storm. And if Chris has done his job properly, and if he continues to do it properly, he'll supplement and make sure we have the proper depth to make up for it until guys come back. I think what we have grown tired of as White Sox fans is the dreaded season-ending conversation type of injuries, because that just seems to have, or this guy's going to be on the DL for 60 days. It's like, or IL rather, for 60 days. And that's what we've become so sickened over the last 5 years. Injuries are going to happen. It's not like the White Sox are the only team that has injuries. It just seemed like we had so many that were in the category of these guys are going to be on the shelf forever, and you just could never overcome it. I can handle the injuries as long as they're not, guys aren't going to be out of the lineup for months at a time.
And that we have depth, and we have guys that can step up, guys that are more than serviceable, more than just warm bodies, playing their actual position. Not that we're trying to put guys out of position just to fill different holes because we haven't constructed an appropriate team to handle this type of stuff. We've got some depth, and that's what is refreshing, I think, from a fan's perspective. We're talking about pitching with Vassell. We'll continue, I guess, with pitching. Not a huge surprise at all, but it's official. Shane Smith is going to be your opening day starter, and he's been nice to watch this spring. He's put up comfortable numbers. I think there's got to be a breath of fresh air, just like breathe easy. Last year was such a whirlwind for him, and we know his story, and here we are, with the season that he had, and there are expectations on him, of course. I mean, we're really relying on him. We need that version of Shane Smith, if not better, to really anchor and lead this young staff. But I think he's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder in a different way than last year, as in last year, I was hungry and I had to prove myself. This year, I've got to prove that I can still be here and that I am the ace of the staff. And he's going to be facing on opening day his old squad in Milwaukee. And I'm excited and happy and just all the things for Shane Smith and his family. It's a cool moment. I don't know if you saw the video of him being told the news, but I'm rooting for this guy. He's an easy guy to root for, and it's pretty cool story. So I'm looking for him to rock and roll.
Yeah, that was whenever they put those videos out on social media. I mean, I'm a sucker for them. The guys that get called up from the minors to the bigs, or a guy gets the announcement that he's going to be the opening day starter. I mean, that's just cool. It's nice to have a little bit of that insight. Something obviously that'll never happen to you or I, but to see how much it really means to guys when they put in the work. I mean, Rule 5, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
Shane Smith, and again going up against his former organization in the Brewers, and I bet he's got a little extra motivation. I hope he doesn't try and play outside of himself too much and just goes out there and pitches and gives us the best opportunity to win. And we'll see what he does with opening day, but after that, it's like, okay, just business as usual. Let's continue to just build on the success you've had over the past year plus. So I'm excited for him. Same with you, like easy guy to root for, and you like those those great stories and that have a hopefully a happy ending for him. So good to see.
Yeah. Sean Newcomb, which was a lefty acquisition. There was some thought maybe that he'd be possibly in the rotation, and I think that was squashed when Fetty came back, but it was made official that Sean Newcomb will work out of the bullpen. Venable said they talked to him about it recently. Venable won't officially commit to anyone else in the rotation beyond Shane Smith, but you've got Martin, Fetty, Kay, Burke. I mean, that seems to be, along with Smith, your rotation. I don't think Cannon, although he's had some pleasant moments in the spring, I don't think Cannon's ready yet to be back in that rotation for him. Hopefully it happens for Cannon. I want to see him again. I was high on him going into last season. I was really pleased with what I had seen. And he just could not figure it out, man. He just was getting lit up. So maybe a Jonathan Cannon at some point.
I would love it just from the marketing opportunity. A pitcher with the last name of Cannon. I mean, the bobblehead. I mean, it sells itself, Nick. There's not enough room in your house anymore for another bobblehead, but could you imagine one like a pulling the lighting a cannon? That'd be great.
Sure. Oh, I'd find a spot. I'm going to make it work. I've got some work to do this spring break. Some fabrication. It's all good. I've got the plans. I've got the tools. It's going to happen.
You have certainly become more handy in your old age than you were when I first met you. 20 some years ago. Well, you've really built yourself up into something.
I don't really have the God-given ability. I do have the interest and the desire to learn. So if I don't know how to do something, thankfully there are all of these videos now just at your touch where there's a video for absolutely anything.
Yeah.
You need to change out.
I mean, for crying out loud. I mean, you got two brothers that this is in their blood.
Yeah. It's somewhere in my body. I just needed to kind of tap into it and bring it to the surface. And, you talk to some folks, and, you go sometimes into a hardware store and have some conversations, and you get some insight, trial and error. You make some mistakes sometime, but videos are great. And of course you got to have the right tool, and you got to know what type of tool you need. And I've come a long way. I'm pretty proud of myself with some of the things that I have attempted. And so, it's going to be okay.
Now, your brothers, of course, do real work with their hands. You are building shelves for bobbleheads.
Which is still important work. You're kind of dismissing it and throwing.
Well, it's important for you. It's certainly important for you, Nick.
Yes, I'm not changing anybody's lives except for myself, and making things more comfortable in that world. So to each their own. You just got to find the reason why you do it, the love and the passion. But can I talk to you about Jason Benetti? Before it gets too late here in this show. And
Of course it can. I love talking Jason Benetti.
it is like, just completely wailing on a dead horse here. But since the last time we recorded, news came out about Jason Benetti becoming the guy for NBC's, I believe, Sunday Night Baseball. Is that right?
I believe so.
It is exciting for him. It's not a surprise that they would tap into him. Truly deserves it. It's going to be a wonderful listen. But anytime something good happens for Jason Benetti, I have come across so many people, usually on the socials and what have you, that just, want to bring this up again and just damn the White Sox. And what I again, can't believe they let this happen. And, just such another catastrophe. I think the Tribune wrote a blurb about how letting Benetti go was like the biggest mistake the White Sox organization has made since 1982 when they let Harry Carey leave. And I mean, they had to have been talking about broadcasting, and I would say the Rooney thing was also really ridiculous, letting John Rooney leave, even though I think he wanted to maybe, that. But I'm sorry, I can't say that at all was anywhere near the biggest blunder that the White Sox have had. Unfortunate, but Benetti was destined for bigger things, and it just didn't seem like it was a good relationship. And I just, I had to bring it up just because, I don't think it bothers me as much. And maybe and because Benetti wasn't my guy. Like I grew up with Hawk. You and I, we were Hawk and Wimpy, and Hawk was my guy. And so I wasn't of the generation where they didn't know Hawk and Benetti was their person. And the absolute fallout from that. I can't experience it, but I wanted to just check in with you.
Well, it's certainly not the biggest blunder. I mean, Josh points out in the chat, the James Fields trade as Fernando Tatis Jr. is, playing against USA in the WBC as we speak. So, I liked Benetti. Benetti, and this is going to sound bad, but he grew on me. It was just, it's hard to replace the legend, even though the legend needed to go. Like it was time for Hawk to, and he'll say now that he was told to retire, which was probably true as well. But I liked Benetti. I liked him as, I thought he was witty, thought he was funny. He's a hell of a talent, hell of a versatile talent. I mean, he's doing baseball. He does college football. He does basketball. He does everything. I mean, and he does it. I can't imagine the amount of prep and the amount of study that has to go into from one night you're doing this to the next night you're doing that to the next night you're calling, Tigers regular season games. I mean, the amount that goes into that to know everybody and you have obviously a ton of people at your disposal to help you, the producers and things like that. But to make it seem like you know everything about everybody's life and make it seem like it goes off without a hitch. I mean, the guy's wildly talented and I'm happy for him and his success, but it is just a broadcaster. It is more important about the wins and the losses as a fan. So that's where I'll put it, Nick. I wish he was still our play-by-play announcer, but he's not. So I've moved past it, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh had a good point too, that I put up here on the live show. Pundits forget that people have their own goals. Jason was awesome, but he was going to be bigger than the Sox. And that's how I felt. That's the way broadcasting is, long gone are the days where one broadcaster will stay with the team for 25, 30 years, and that's all they do is they just call baseball games and that's all they can do. They don't have any. And now it's just, you've got to almost be a Swiss Army knife, especially if you want, and there's so many more programming opportunities. There's so much more that can be done with how things are consumed, how sports are consumed. So somebody that gets into broadcasting and really wants to be at the top of the top, you get your foot in the door with a team perhaps, but you're probably not long for that.
Yeah.
You're going to be gobbled up, and you're going to be, in this situation, you're going to be NBC's guy, and so I don't know where to take it from here. It's just that keeps, anytime there's a Benetti thing, it's like, oh my goodness, I think we just need to let it go, man. It just wasn't working out. The front office for their reasons, and it was a little prickly, and he's on to different things. And Schriffen is Schriffen, and he and Stone, it still doesn't sound right, and maybe it'll be a little bit better this year in 2026, but yeah, it adds something to it. Don't get me wrong. The broadcasting piece really adds something to it, but you can always turn the volume down, and it's just consumed the team for what it is. So I don't know. Had to bring that up, just I saw that, and folks that were losing their minds, to each their own, and that's just not at all the hill I'm going to try to die on or even battle on.
Okay. I'm with you. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think so. So we talked about Antonacci and what he's been doing for Team Italy, and Team Italy exciting in this World Baseball Classic. But he I don't believe is going to be up with the ball club to start things off. This is what Getz had to say. What he's about, what he brings on a daily basis, it's a winning style of baseball that's going to fit in very well here. I'm very confident that the South Side is going to enjoy watching Sam Antonacci when the time comes. So again, injuries might force that hand, but I mean, he's making the best out of the time that he's given with the World Baseball Classic, which is another cool reason for this type of tournament. Guys that have opportunities to get their name out and make themselves a household name and show what they can do in a high pressure situation. So again, like, it's good on the Sox. That's guys that are on our club that have gone to different countries to support their country in this tournament. Hey, it's good for the Sox. I'm all for it.
I am with you, and again, putting those guys in, giving them opportunities to succeed on a big stage, and it kind of gives you as a GM an opportunity to go, okay, this is what this guy is kind of made of, right? He's stepped up in a high pressure situation, or something that we can't replicate in spring training. That's good. We're going to file that away and know that this guy's got something in him.
Yeah, that is true. Like, you've got to have that memory bank as a front office, and what these guys are doing and their TWTW, if I can say that, shows up. And I think we've got some guys, we've got some depth that we haven't had in several seasons, which makes it a little bit more exciting as we start counting down the days. I'm at a point right now, Pat, where it's like, I'm ready, man. Let's just start the season. These are these last couple days of spring training that kind of drag on, and next week when we're talking, we'll be just 4 days away for being in Milwaukee for this thing to kick off. It's kind of gone by really fast in a weird way. I can't believe we're here, mid-March. But this drags on kind of this last week. You're holding your breath because you don't want any injuries, and there's some roster things that still, of course, need to be figured out. But what are you specifically, like, anything that you're just you can't wait to get to the finish line? What are you looking forward to most, I guess, as we're here in mid-March?
What am I looking forward to most? Well, I'm a little bit I'm glad they're not starting yet this week, Nick, because have you looked at the weather report?
Yeah, I know it's going to be
I
nasty.
mean, not good for no good for baseball. So I'm okay that we're not quite starting yet. I guess what I'm looking forward to the most is seeing how Moon fits into this lineup. I think that's we maybe the easy take there, Nick. But I'm looking forward to him, stepping out on a major league field with his teammates and seeing how he progresses and adjusts to major league to the major leagues in the United States. So it seems to me like he's got a personality that is one that will lend well to you know you get some of these guys that come over and play, and it's a new surroundings for them, or they're not quite used to it. They're kind of like they're kind of put a barrier up around themselves to where I don't want to let you get too close. I don't know who I can trust and things like that. He seems to be very accessible and excited and outspoken. Now, whether that leads to him, having success, I don't really know that yet, but it seems a little different. You look at some of the guys that we've had over the years, even the stars, Jose Abreu, they would still use an interpreter, even though they could speak English. It was almost a way to kind of have that barrier between them and the media. And I don't want to be too big. And I just kind of don't want to show up and do my work and go home type of thing. He seems like he could be, with the success to go along with it, a star level player in this town. And I'm excited to see how it gets started for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you've got, I don't know, just a collection of guys right now, that they're scrappy. They still very much have to prove something, and they know that, and they're playing for each other. And, you heard so many things about lack of chemistry and these cliques that had formed years ago. Guys that, maybe thought that they were better than others, that they, felt like they were on an island. Other guys that have been told all their life that they were the best in every single league. And they come over and, guys get thrown a lot of money early on when they really didn't do much. Now, on one hand, it was nice to lock some of these guys up, but on the other hand, they had just been given a ton of money. And what's the incentive? I hate to say that, but what's your incentive now? And you saw some complacency. I think you saw probably some issues in the clubhouse because of it. But I like the chemistry. I like where we're headed. And I like, the bullpen. If I could say something that I'm excited about right now, I really like bringing in Sir Anthony Dominguez, what he's going to bring in that closer role. You got fireballer like Grant Taylor. You got some big arms. Hopefully Leisure can hold it together. Vassell isn't on the shelf for very long. Jordan Hicks, Newcomb, I like him in the bullpen and having some balance as a lefty. Alberto Gilbert, there's some other names that could break camp too. I was very disappointed, as a lot of people were, in what we had as a bullpen last year, and the amount of blown leads and the one-run losses. And I think that's going to change. I really do this year. So that's something right now that I will definitely be paying attention to. Offense, of course, we'll all be. That's where you get excited, and we've got guys that can put the ball out of the ballpark and hit for power, but it's that pitching component. And with really not a dominant starting pitching on paper rotation, you're going to need a solid bullpen, of course. So
no doubt about it. And may I add another thing, as I just happened to flip open X/Twitter here. Rock Chwalski, another home run.
Oh my goodness.
Season. Yeah. So maybe we look forward to that too. Just continue to watch highlights of him and salivating over his possibility of being drafted by our White Sox.
Just like, the clips and the videos of the Mooner, hitting a bomb, a grand slam. You do not have to look far for the Rock Chowalski videos. I mean, they're everywhere. Anytime he hits a home run, makes solid contact, has a big game, they are everywhere. The blurbs are coming out right now about what prognosticators are saying about his ceiling and, how the Sox might handle him. All just way too early in my mind. But yeah, my hope really is that the Sox are playing enjoyable baseball in April and May. And like, we're not just, holding our breath, waiting for the number one pick. And when it happens, it's like, oh, wow, Sox are watchable this year. And now we're bringing the stud to the South side. And that would be nice.
Yeah, that's an exciting thing to keep an eye on as we march towards the season, as it starts, and as we get closer to the draft.
Folks, we've got a quote of the week here. Really appreciate everybody jumping in on this mid-March Sunday night when there's a lot of action going on the TV, so to speak, that could take your attention. Appreciate you being with us and for passing this podcast along to other White Sox fans in your life. Looking forward to meeting some of you this season, and what a better time to start than maybe in Milwaukee or somewhere in Lot B or around the stadium on the home opener, April 2nd. So we are every Sunday night now live on the Good Guys Talk Back YouTube channel, and of course audio everywhere. Thank you so much for being with us. Here is your quote of the week. It's from the elder statesman, Andrew Benintendi. I feel like there's an identity to this team now. It's just kind of plays hard, gritty, whatever it takes to win. Everybody in here knows each other, gets along with each other. We are all going in the same direction. And I love those types of quotes right now. That is, that is just low-hanging fruit, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe just an easy quote to throw out there, but I do believe it after talking and hearing from so many people at Sox Fest and just paying attention, as so many people have also been paying attention over the last 6 to 8 months. It feels like there's an attitude.
Yeah.
And I like that attitude.
Yep. I didn't see that quote when I spoke earlier about an identity. So I'm glad to know that Andrew and I are on the same page.
You are. Pat, buddy, always a pleasure, my friend. Looking forward to this season.
Yeah, me too, buddy. I'm excited about it. I'm going to just do a quick shout out to the Shanahan 10U Indians came home with a championship this weekend. Won the Shamrock Slugfest out in Bettendorf, Iowa. So shout
Bettendorf?
out to
Yes.
Bettendorf, Iowa. Yes, great trip out there. Gavin had a great weekend. Caught all but 3 innings, and he was a stud. And he was 5 feet away from his first home run. Yep. And I totally botched a home run call by being shocked that he hit the ball that far. So fun weekend. Shout out to Coach Lar and the rest of the coaches. And we just kicked ass. So proud papa right now.
Who knew the baseball powerhouse capital was down in Shanahan, Illinois?
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
It's a machine down there.
It is powerhouse. You go back to last season, we've won 3 tournaments in a row. So I don't know what to tell you.
Something in the water down there. You got something's going right down in Shanahan. So, hey, you know what I love about that, Pat? I love that kids are still excited about this sport. That there are so many other temptations, and I love travel, club. Kids are pulled in so many directions baseball wise, but I love hearing that there's so much excitement for the sport, and that it's my love, it's your love, and I just the youth needs to carry the torch. They're the next generation, so that's awesome.
Somebody's gonna have to do this podcast when we're gone next, so
Absolutely.
we've got to pass it on to them.
Yep. I would say so. All right, my man, let's do it all over again next Sunday and get ready for that big opening day up in Milwaukee.
You got it, brother. Looking forward to it.
All right, man. For Pat Hester, I am Nick Murawski. Until next time, go Sox.